President Trump is blasting the world's largest museum complex as he pushes for a rewrite of American history, posting on Truth Social, quote, "The Smithsonian is out of control, where everything discussed is how horrible our country is, how bad slavery was, and how unaccomplished the downtrodden have been. Nothing about success, nothing about brightness, nothing about the future." A top-down review of the Smithsonian's exhibits, collections, and internal processes is already underway. Now, a White House official tells NBC News that Donald Trump plans to extend his focus beyond the Washington-based institution, saying he will hold the Smithsonian accountable and then go from there. Joining us now, presidential historian and professor of history at Rice University, Douglas Brinkley. Doug, I haven't been to the Smithsonian recently, so I'm not quite sure what it's like in there, what the exhibits are like. Have you been in the past couple years?
Yes, I'm there all the time. And in fact, I'm afraid what President Trump's trying to do is whitewash history. He's really aiming to undo slavery. He doesn't want us to follow the timeline of our country, and that happened. If you go to Smithsonian and look at Black American history, you'll see things that, how do you object to, Chuck Berry's Red Cadillac, or Harriet Tubman's hymn book, or, Romaine Bearden, the great painters, works on the Great Migration. I don't know what the beef is, except there seems to be a not liking of true Black history, and it seems to be aimed at the Biden and Obama administrations to the degree that Joe Biden had signed an executive order saving as a national monument Springfield, Illinois, where you had the lynching and the riot of 1908, or putting a spotlight on Tulsa riot of 1921, just the decimation of the Black community there, or dealing with lynchings that took place in the South of Black people. It seems to me President Trump wants to whitewash all of that in some kind of patriotic fervor as he bangs his drum marching to America 250 on July 4th.
I'm an educated person. I've got a college degree. I went to a good high school. And I didn't learn about the Tulsa race riot until I watched a show on HBO, and they portrayed it in the beginning. And I said, wow, that's a horrible thing. And then I realized, oh, my God, this really happened. And that's when I learned. That was only a few years ago. That's when I learned about the Tulsa race riot. So there are certainly gaps, even in the best of educations. I wonder, when Donald Trump talks about not having any celebration of success in that statement, saying the Smithsonian doesn't celebrate anything other than the bad stuff, do you get that sense when you go there? Is there a celebration of the successes of this country?
Oh, it's a monument, really, towards Black entrepreneurship and Black greatness. I mean, you study and look at Muhammad Ali. He was the greatest, and there he is at the Smithsonian. You take a look at, the story of a newspaper like the Chicago Defender that was able to advertise what was going on, not just in Chicago, but around America on race relations, and promote the great singers of, say, Bronzeville, Chicago, South Side, people like Sam Cooke and Nat King Cole, Quincy Jones, Diana Washington. The list is long, Mahalia Jackson. So that's what they're doing. It's largely celebratory, but you can't just skip the slavery part of it because it's painful. They do a TikTok timeline. You walk through on the first floor and understand how Black American history has had a different variation than white American history. And it's educational at its very best. And by the way, President Trump should go to some red states. He should go visit incredible civil rights museums in cities like Memphis and Birmingham, Montgomery. Everybody's come to grips with this. What President Trump's suggesting is some retro, go back to a kind of a time of segregation thinking, and that's not, we're too advanced for that, and it's not helpful, and particularly not doing it like that on Truth Social instead of having an honest dialogue with the good professional curators and the director of the Smithsonian in an honest way. If you want to upgrade certain aspects of Black history, Tuskegee Airmen or Buffalo Soldiers, go for it. You're president. It's America 250. But you don't have to be as demeaning as he is, because it makes all of America look bad.
That's clearly where you think the beef is. I really appreciate you joining us today, Doug. I have a few more questions, but the control room is already yelling at me about time today. I'm going over, but please do come back. Really great to have you.